I'm Rob and welcome to the channel. Today's video is another one out of the series of fly tying videos that I've done from this book. And the reason I did them from this book is that this is the book Trout Fishing by Joe Brooks that inspired me to be a fly tyer and a fly angler. So that was an awful long time ago. I was about 7 years old when I got this book, so I've been at it for a while. So enough of that. But the fly we're going to tie today I'm very excited about because we're almost to Christmas, and it's a very Christmassy colored fly with a long story to it. It's the Royal Coachman wet fly. So if you stick around, I'll give you a little bit of the story of where this fly came from, and also at the end I'm going to tie a little bit of a more modern variation. So let's get tying this. This is our fly for today, and like I said before, it is a Royal Coachman wet fly. So here's how we tie it. Okay, here we go. Okay. Number 14 hook, we'll get that started. So this fly is another fly that was still popular, in the 60s, probably all the way up to the 80s, but it originated in the late 1800s, and it was first tied by a guy named John Haley, and he was a fly tyer from the New York City area. So we'll get our tail in, and what Haley did, he took a fly that was from like the 1830s called the Coachman, and he modified it. And you see how we have on our Euro nymphs, we have the hot spots. I think he kind of invented the hot spot. He put that red distinctive floss in between the Peacock Herl and the Coachman and came up with the Royal Coachman. He ended up with white wings, and that was his thing. He didn't name the fly. He sent it to Charles Orvis, and he was the one that suggested the name for it. And I think Mr. Orvis was probably better at marketing than Mr. Haley because it's a name that stuck, and you got the Royal Wolf and all the other Royal Trude and the other stuff that descended from it. So kind of a great combination of two guys coming up with something that works. So we got our Peacock Herl in, we get some floss in. I always found it kind of interesting how flies evolved. We think of a lot of the stuff that we have today as all brand new, but it really isn't. And get a little bit of floss, a bit more Peacock Herl. Got that in. So this uses paired duck quills, so we'll get those. And at the end I'm going to show you how I would do a little bit more modern variation of this fly. I think with a lot of the wet flies, a lot of the traditional wet flies, they thought that they were imitating, emergers coming up to the surface, and that was what they looked like, and I don't think they really do. I don't think you need paired wings and all that. Now, just get these right. Got one last thing. Need a little bunch of brown hackle fibers. Grab those, and we got it. So get in a bunch of brown hackle fibers. Just to even those up. And I tie them in sparse. I don't want a ton of them. That long one out. And we'll trim those. And whip finish, get some glue on it, and we're done. It's not a hard fly to make, but like I said, I don't think the fish care about having the wings like that. And I've used this fly over the years. Probably the best success I've had with it is on rainbows. Both in, there's a pond that I fish that has stocked rainbows, and I'll get them out of that. And also up in a river. Nice precise little drop of head cement, and that's it. Royal Coachman wet. So this is my humble variation. Instead of having the paired duck quill wings, which I don't think the trout cares, I just substituted a CDC puff, and it's going to give it a little motion into the wing, and I think it looks just as nice. So there's a lot of things you can do building on other people's ideas, and this is a fly that was created by building on somebody else's idea, because John Haley created it after the Coachman wet fly, which was created in the 1830s, probably about 40 years before he created the Royal Coachman or more. So it makes you think, gives you some ideas.